What is Monero? Monero is your classical privacy coin. It allows you to create transactions just like any other cryptocurrency like Bitcoin or Litecoin or Dogecoin, but with some embedded privacy features. For example, with Monero, let's imagine Alice sending one Monero to Bob. All Alice needs is Bob's wallet address, public address. Now, even though she has the wallet address referenced to Bob, she will not know how many coins he has received, how many coins he has sent, to whom he is sending, and how much he is sending or receiving. Everything is obscured and everything is not linkable to that wallet. Now, when Alice sends that one Monero to Bob, whoever's trying to monitor Alice's transaction cannot find out who the one Monero is going to, how much there is going, and whether it's coming from Alice herself. This is the benefit of Monero, which you can think of as the electronic cash. Think of cash in your hand right now, whether you have a $5 note, pounds, yen, whatever currency it is. Imagine Alice and Bob transacting a $10 note inside a closed room. Only Alice and Bob know that this transaction has occurred. Alice can create a reference to the transaction after Bob has received it, so that Bob can verify that Alice was indeed the one who sent it. But nobody outside the room can tell. Monero is exactly the way cash behaves digitally. Comparing Monero to Bitcoin, when you use Bitcoin, you are sort of semi-anonymous. You are sending one Bitcoin from Alice's wallet to Bob's wallet. Anybody who is monitoring the network can tell exactly how much Alice is sending and what the receiving address is. And this transaction can be linked. For example, after Bob receives that one Bitcoin, Bob decides to send one Bitcoin to his pal, George, whatever. When Bob sends that one Bitcoin, you can follow the transactions back and see where that one Bitcoin came from originally. We can assume that Alice was the first one to hold this one Bitcoin, and she decided to send it to Bob, and Bob decided to send it to George. This is all linkable. All the amounts are known, all the wallet addresses are linked for all these transactions. So, Bitcoin has its benefits. It's great for auditing, tracking orders, for example. It's a public database, immutable public database, has many great features. Land ownership, all of this stuff. But what if you want your bank account to be private? You don't want to disclose how much money you have in your bank account. You want to remain anonymous, free, private. You are a private individual. Whether you have $10 or $10,000 in your bank account, it doesn't matter. You don't want anybody snooping and watching your transactions. You do not want anybody to monitor when you're buying a coffee with your cash or buying underwear with your cash. This is all private matters. Nobody should be monitoring you, really. There's always a use case for Monero and for Bitcoin, for private coins and public coins. Many use cases. It really depends on what you want to do, what you want to achieve. So make sure you use the right one for the right reasons.